My name is Mary Cassella, and this is the Now Testament by Michael Cassella. It was now, and the Word of God was alive and well, and was being preached all over the world. Many believed and accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and received the free gifts of faith, righteousness, the promise of eternal life, and the forgiveness of their sins. Others believed other things. The free will the Lord bestowed on all humanity manifested in many different behaviors. Certain people performed great deeds of unselfish heroism, while others did horrific acts that could be labeled pure evil. The battle of good and evil raged on in the hearts and spirits of the individual souls as well as on the world stage. The people had been fruitful and were multiplying and filling the earth. They were divided over many things, including religion, gender, national origin, social and economic status, race, environmental preservation, and cultural preservation. There were wars and rumors of wars, and the world seemed headed for an apocalyptic end. The Lord continued to love all His people regardless of their behaviors. He saw the American Patriots reunited to fight terrorism, globalization, and open borders that let dangerous people into their countries. He heard the prayers of His humble servants and commissioned many more legions of angels to assist in the salvation of all the souls on the lost paradise of the earth. The sheer number of troops of angels caused a panic in hell. There were very few souls there, for many had been saved, even those who cried out to God in their last breath. The devil looked around his hell and saw only evil losers who were cowards. They were amateur commercial airline pilots, wondering, "Where are the virgins I was promised?" There were suicide bombers, the Newtown Sandy Hook schoolhouse shooter, and all that had intentionally harmed any children. The Antichrist had been conceived, but was quickly vacuumed out of the womb and discarded as medical waste. The devil's globalist agenda had been exposed via the internet, and the New World Order was never to be. The unity of the American Patriots, combined with the newly commissioned additional legions of angels, scared all the confidence out of the fallen angel Satan. Satan was responsible for all the turmoil of the times, and he knew the battle of good and evil was rigged against him, and that he would surely lose. Well aware of the mercy and forgiveness of God that was bestowed on the sinners of the world, Satan had a revelation. He cried out to the Lord, "Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned against all of humanity, the angels and you, my Creator. I confess the lie that I had all of the people believe. They cannot use 100% of their brains. This lie led them to make the wrong choices and judgments that led to the social chaos that infects the former paradise of the beautiful earth you created for them. I repent from my former intervention in all people's lives, and I commit to never deceive anyone ever again. Let the people of the world engage the magnificent cognitive abilities you bestowed upon them to seek love, truth, and peace." The Lord was well pleased with the devil's early forfeit in the battle of good and evil, the battle that had left many visible scars on the earth. The ozone layer protecting the earth had been compromised, species had gone extinct or were in danger of it, fear of climate change, loss of wilderness habitat, air and water pollution. But worst of all, the nations and individuals were well armed with killing weapons. They had big bombs, deadly bacteria, nuclear bombs, guns, rifles, abortion vacuums, poisons, swords, hangman nooses, electric chairs, navies, armies, and air forces, etc. The minds of the people began to heal as their faith in their own intelligence began to grow. They began to realize the unengaged capabilities of their magnificent brains and chose to develop them. Their memory was strengthened. Their decisions were made quickly and confidently. They listened to that small voice within, and they clearly recognized deceptions. They learned to seek and accept truth regardless of previous beliefs. They accepted that the earth was once a paradise that had been compromised by man's activities. The people were very proud of their unprecedented technological achievements. There were new things under the sun. It was time to combine their advanced technologies with their newly found escalated intelligence to restore the lost paradise of their home planet. They were now wise enough to see that the rate of consumption of resources would not be sustainable for long. The earth was in danger of the oceans being more depleted, coral reefs were dying, the rainforests were being deforested, there was mass extinction of species, and expected climate change. A global chat site was formed on the World Wide Web of the Internet, and all the citizens of the globe were invited to discuss solutions to thwart the world's impending environmental doom. The whole world began to brainstorm solutions. Good ideas were liked and improved upon, and ineffective ideas were put aside. Plans were made to replenish the oceans by rebuilding the natural food chain. The ocean was fertilized, and massive marine fish cultures were farmed along the shores of many nations. Fish, lobsters, shrimps, shellfish, and kelp were raised for food and for release back into the ocean. The human supplementing of the food chain led to larger and larger populations of organisms that fed bigger organisms and more reproduction until the sea was again full of massive shoals of fish, endless beds of shellfish, pods of whales, and great colonies of marine mammals. The world's oceans reached their carrying capacity, and the people harvested great quantities of seafood in a controlled, sustainable way. With the oceans now providing the world with much animal protein, the pressure on the land to produce corn, grains, and pasture to feed cattle and other livestock was relieved. This land could now be used to raise fruits, grains, nuts, and vegetables for human consumption. The world that was full of extensive fields of wheat, corn, rice, soybeans, and hay was now transformed into diverse gardens and orchards of a diversity of plant foods. New hybrid strains of fruits and vegetables were produced that were big and delicious. Hydroponic fish and plant systems became common in many households, and many people raised much of their own food in their backyards or on small farms. To further reduce the demand for land for human habitation, large Trump-like luxury towers were built with great views, elaborate kitchens, and luxury appliances and furniture. Large multi-level parking garages were below ground level, and stores, restaurants, and service businesses were built at the street level. The close proximity of goods and services to the luxury towers reduced the driving needs of the residents. People raising much of their food on their yards and farms further reduced the demand for fossil fuel. The price of oil dropped, and the large oil corporations began to implement the clean green technologies that had been developing. Trees were planted all over the world. Fruit trees were planted in public places for all to share. Cleared forests were restored, and all the remaining rainforests were diligently protected by the entire international community. With all these additional leaves and grasses and kelps photosynthesizing the sun's energy, the excess greenhouse gases were being absorbed, and the ozone layer was replenished. The polar ice caps began to swell, and the glaciers began to inch forward again. The polar bears again had great ice sheets to hunt the seals. Love letter to the Americans. I prayed to the Lord, give me your divine perspective on the American culture. Inspire me to write the words that you want the American patriots to hear. I thank you in advance. Amen. Continued blessings to the American patriots, whom I have given the land flowing with milk and honey. I love you all more than you will ever comprehend. You are all sinners, as are all the people of the world. As I read the hearts and minds of the patriots, I see little sparks of my divine nature. You believe in the freedom to love who you wish. Many marriages are based on true romantic love and attraction for each other. This is the purpose of life and why I created you. I delight in joining couples in true love. And I work tirelessly behind the scenes to make these love connections. I will continue to bless and protect America and all other nations who enjoy the freedom to choose whom they love. Cultures that endorse arranged or forced marriages do not please me. Cultures who force young children to marry before they are sexually mature will surely perish. Love first your spouse, love first your children, your parents, your grandchildren, love next your friends and relatives, love next your tribe, however you define it, for this is natural and it is not racism. Love the earth and all I've created. Preserve the remnants of biodiversity that remains. Restore the great American bison herd and give it back some prairie to roam. Bring back the wolf packs, the mountain lions, and all the bears. Reverse habitat destruction and recreate new wildernesses and protect and preserve them. Begin the journey to restore the world to the paradise it once was. The Book of Science and Technology. The debate over creation versus evolution was pointless because the creation has been evolving, changing gradually over time. These changes were not caused by natural selection, but by viruses that were designed with a special key that allowed it to enter only specific animal or plant cells. Once in the cell replicates many copies of the DNA of the virus packet. These copies are released into other cells, replicated again and again until there are enough copies to enter most of the cells. These strands of genetic material are coded to enter a specific location in the DNA of each cell. This incrementally changes the DNA of the organism, and this change is then passed on to the next generation. A few viruses are deadly, and much attention is given to the study of them. The truth is that most viruses enter organisms with no ill effects, changing the DNA a little at a time. This explains why there are no missing links, yet a gradual intentional changing of the organism over time. The Lord improves and adapts all organisms with these little packets of DNA intentionally, and this accounts for all the increased complexity in the creation. This is clearly evidence in the plant world where the earth first had simple plants of mosses and ferns, and now is robust with the beautiful and complex flowering plants. Advanced technology in astronomy has led to the discovery of a vast universe with billions of galaxies, and these galaxies have millions of stars. These stars have watery planets like our Earth and have carbon-based life forms just as the Earth does. The question is, are they all paradises? Are they compromised paradises like ours, or both? We will never know, for they are too far away to ever travel to. Advancements in genetics and genetic modifications are forthcoming. It would be wise to stay out of this venue lest we anger the Lord. The computer and internet technologies have changed the world so quickly. Is it for better or for worse, who can say? Information, commerce, news, fake news, social media, pornography, dating, music, entertainment, etc. are all available with a click of a finger. People stared at two-dimensional screens, either on their computer, their television, their phone, or their video games. They focused little of their time in the three-dimensional world of plants and animals. A person can go from complete obscurity to international fame in hours with one viral video. Events are captured on cell phones all over the world, and tweets can become headline news. This interconnection of all the people in the world was to be directed to changing the world for the better. People shared ideas and information with each other to improve the global community while retaining their national sovereignty and national culture and identity. The people resisted multiculturalism in their home countries and reversed the influx of refugees, fake refugees, and illegal immigrants into their precious countries. They enjoyed all the benefits of multiculturalism and diversity at a safe distance via the internet. Gorilla lives matter. Gorilla lives matter most because there are so few of them left. The magnificent silverback gorilla that was shot by the zookeeper for playing with the disobedient fatherless child was an outrage to the Lord. Have not enough of them been killed to sell tourist ashtrays made from their hands? The gorilla is a highly intelligent, emotional, loving, and complex primate that needs to be given back its habitat and its species saved from extinction. The gorillas, giraffes, elephants, and rhinoceroses, etc. are important residents of the lost paradise of Earth. Those who kill these and other magnificent creatures will be visited with the full vengeance of the Lord in this life and the life hereafter. The Lord will bless all those who preserve, protect, and contribute to the repopulation of all these hunted animals. The whales, the dolphins, the seals, walrus, otters, etc. must be restored as well as the sharks and rays. Do these things to return to paradise and watch as the Lord will bless the world. The Book of World Peace. Thou shalt not kill each other. White Lives Matter. The Caucasian race that is defined only by the lack of color in their skin are being stereotyped as white devils by those opposed to their diverse cultures. Being called a white devil is the most racially prejudiced, demonizing hate speech there ever was, yet it is not politically incorrect. Undeniably, some white people do tirelessly pursue wealth and the power that comes with it. Like most of the people in the world, the majority of them have neither wealth nor power. If I would paint Caucasians with one brush, I would call them white sweethearts. In my life experience living amongst white people, I have seen many acts of random kindness, large and small cash donations to charities and churches, heroic interventions, in my life experience living amongst white people, I have seen many acts of random kindness, large and small cash donations to charities and churches, heroic interventions, kidney donations, and protesting for the rights of others. White people fought in and won World War I and World War II, the American Revolution, etc. White people fought against the interests of the wealthy, white Southern slave owners. They lost their lives and had their limbs amputated, fighting for their principles that all men were created equal in God's eyes. The melanin-deprived went on to create a society of great comforts, warm homes, with comfortable furniture and work-saving gadgets. They built great cities with skyscrapers and great bridges. They provided transportation systems on the ground, in the air, on the water, and under the ground and under the water. White people are almost exclusively the environmental warriors who fight with their time and money to save the precious whales, the Barron's top minnow, and any other habitat or species that is endangered. They have written great books, made good and bad movies. They have performed beautiful classical music, great works of art, and designed and built famous architectural buildings. The light-skinned have brought you the miracles of modern medicine, the evils of the pharmaceutical business, and pointless space travel. White lives have brought you the global positioning system, the computer, the telephone, and recorded music. They engineered refrigerators, air conditioners, hot tubs, and let us not forget indoor plumbing. White people have passed civil rights legislation, anti-discrimination laws, affirmative action, and have fired their white friends for saying possibly racist comments. You can call white men deplorable, xenophobic, radical Islamophobic, but do not call them misogynist. No white men hate women. None. Zero. Every white man loves woman as a gender. They are now standing up for the protection of all women. They are uniting for the protection of their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, wives, girlfriends, etc. They will rise up and push out of their nations the illegal immigrants, fake refugees, and Sharia law endorsers that may do harm to our women. The women of all Western nations will roam freely and fearlessly in our nations, wearing miniskirts, overalls, burqas, or bikinis, with no unwelcome harassment from any males. White people have been exploited for their kindness, have been attacked violently for just being white, and have been taxed heavily to fund the entitlements of those who call them white devils. The time is now for all Caucasians to be proud of their cultures, their work ethics, their morality. They should be proud of their contributions to the world and celebrate the diversity in their own race. They will humbly thank the Lord for all their beauty, intelligence, and talents. It is time they reverse their diminishing demographics in the nations they successfully built. Let the white women love the white men that protect and provide for them, and may they all have families with no divorces and lots of children. The heart of the deal. Business is not just business. Your work and business dealings are not about how much money you get paid, but a reflection of your spirituality. Each business transaction should be based in ethics and morality. The way you treat others and how you affect the global environment in all business dealings must be the priority. The pursuit of reasonable profits should be secondary. The earth has been ravaged, depleted, poisoned, and deflowered in the pursuit of monetary gain. This abuse of the planet will lead to an unsustainable economy, further loss of wild habitats and polluted water, soils, and air. Choose first to consider the environmental consequences and the social and economic benefits of the involved people. Then find a way to make it reasonably profitable. The Lord sees your heart and rewards those with pure intentions, and He brings personal suffering to those who exploit the people and lands for pure profit. They may have temporary wealth, but their sins will be visited upon them now and unto future generations. Reverse this trend and let the entire world brainstorm solutions to this impending environmental doom. Pursue clean, green, and solar energy production with the surplus profits of the detrimental fossil fuel industry. engineer low-energy efficient vehicles with lightweight structure and lasting durability, build high-speed monorail trains to connect major cities to reduce commuter traffic, manufacture products locally to reduce the shipping costs and energy use local resources instead of shipping in cheaper materials. Pursue quality and longevity when designing products instead of consuming all the resources to make cheap products that break down and are discarded. Compete in the world market for high-quality, durable products that will last for generations. Create unique and specialty products that serve certain niches in the market as opposed to mass-producing the same items that leave the consumer little choice. Produce foods and livestock to be sold locally and organically to limit the pesticides and fertilizers that upset the natural balance of the local habitats. Produce foods with limited processing and chemical additives. Sell fresh foods delivered quickly to local markets. Do not make cheap foods with artificial flavors, fillers, and preservatives. Improve the quality and diets of the whole world and reduce health costs. Perform your work with and to the best of your ability and give the best possible personal service to all. Give thanks daily to the Lord for your part in society and the ability to do your job as well as possible. Be an expression and good example of the Lord's qualities in all your daily business and labor. Let the Lord bless you for all diligence, patience, righteous ethical choices. For those of great wealth, spend your money on yourselves, your family, and any charities you choose. Do not continue to hoard the dollars, because the dollar is a mortal entity and will not have value forever. Put not your faith in the power of money. Celebrate your wealth by doing the will of the Lord, and watch the blessings visit you and your future generations.
Eat, drink, and be married. Let parents not arrange marriages or allow sexually immature children to marry anyone ever. Marry the person you truly love and wish to have children with and raise a family together. Do this and you will avoid dramatic divorces and abortion choices. Choose your own romantic destiny, for the Lord delights in lasting love affairs. No more holy wars. That's the title of the next section. No more holy wars. I prayed to the Lord. Give me your divine perspective and opinion on war and peace in this world, and I will share it with the people of earth. The Lord chanted like a protester in the street. No more holy wars. No more holy wars. No more holy wars. Include me not in your warmongering insanity. Collective groups of people organizing and arming themselves to kill other organized collective groups of people is insanity. To use the Lord as justification for this mass murder is absurd. The Lord hates wars, yet he always chooses who wins. Stop the caliphate, or the salafate, I'm not sure. Stop the caliphate, the jihad, the crusades, the cold wars, the conflicts, and the rebellions. No good will ever come from a war, just the death of the bravest men as well as innocent civilians. Mankind's wars have destroyed great architectural buildings, Vietnam's rainforests, massive battleships, fighter planes, new cities, old cities, and military bases. They have eliminated some of the strongest, bravest men from the gene pool and have broken the hearts of wives, children, parents, relatives, and friends. Wars will always perpetuate more wars, as the losers always hold a grudge and rebuild to avenge their loss. The time to stop all wars is now. The weapons now available can destroy the life on this planet and its ability to sustain life. Wars are always a lose-lose situation for all involved. Refrain from all wars and pursue diplomatic peace amongst the nations. A word to the West. The greatest, most civilized, part 3, right? I said, okay. A word to the West. The greatest, most civilized, most comfortable, most technologically advanced cultures of the Western world are being attacked by those who condemn it. Islam and La Raza are invading the Western world illegally to change the Western culture to their culture. Stop all immigration from all other countries. Stay in your own nations. Fight your own battles and pursue your own freedoms. Do not allow your nations to be exploited for their generous welfare and healthcare systems. The immigrants are only there to outbreed your citizens and make your citizens pay for their children through social programs. The plan is to make more voters for the racially biased cause and to vote you out of your own democracy. Deport all these imported enemies of your state before they take control of your government and abuse your women and children. Next section, The Joy of Poverty. The Western cultures have created a subculture of have-nots that unapologetically live off the earnings of those that work and pay taxes. Show up in person at human service offices and do a little paperwork and receive a flow of benefits that are the envy of the third world. They do not work legally or declare any or little income and receive free food of your choice. You will receive prescription drugs for a few dollars or for free. You can receive a double hip replacement operation valued at $45,000 for no charge. One can get automatic scholarships, grants, and interest-free student loans to receive an education. Assistance with utility bills as well as reduced and free rent housing is available. Best of all, you will receive free spending money. I know because I've received some of these things. Those able-bodied people can receive all of these benefits if they do not work. This frees up their time to pursue criminal sources of income. Those who work at low-income jobs can seek some of these benefits, and those who earn money above the poverty level can receive none. Charity for fellow human beings is a beautiful thing and should never be stopped. Abuse of government programs is direct theft from working taxpayers. The financial supplementation of dependence on the government and rewarding non-participation in the workforce weakens any nation. The citizens will not choose to do the low-paying jobs as it will cost more in lost benefits. This creates an excuse to import illegal immigrants that do not pay income tax and are still eligible for free food and medical emergency services. When governments adopt policies that take from the earners and give to the non-productive early retirees, it's not social justice. Blessed are the peacemakers. The heavens rejoiced as the Lord colluded with the Donald J. Trump campaign and rigged the election that saved America and put the world on a path to peace. The Donald, who chose to stray away from his exquisite life to serve his fellow Americans, he risked his own life and fended off relentless attacks on his personality and character to pay back the country. A few missiles, dropped a big bomb, and sent a naval fleet to surround a dangerous nation. These alpha leader moves reminded the world of the undefeatable military power of the United States. The Middle East showed great respect for his resolve and power as he told Islamic leaders to deny funding to terrorist groups and drive them out of their world. World peace was planted in that speech in Saudi Arabia that all the world should water, nourish, and let sunshine grow it exponentially. There will be no World War III, there will be no caliphate, no jihad, no nuclear war, and an annihilation of all terrorism. An annihilation of all terrorism, whether it be homegrown or imported. The American Patriots, with their brilliant leader, will make America great again and bring about. Little girls' lives matter. The joy of fatherhood peaks as caring parents provide for and protect their precious, adorable little daughters. No parent should ever have to send their children off to a pop concert and have them killed by terrorists. Should send their child off to public school and have her come home raped by classmates that are adult illegal invaders from another culture. No parent should have their little girl drugged, raped, pimped, and sold into slavery by men of other cultures or their own culture. No parent should have their sweet children kidnapped and made into sex slaves. This has been happening, and this will be stopped. Wise up, Western men, and be not the ultimate fools of the world. You allow your leaders to import single males from barbaric cultures that rape, insult, and kill your little girls. Do lions invite other male lions to join their pride? No, it is against their nature. These rape-fugees and larapists are here to hurt you by destroying what you love most, your little girls. Muslim men have multiple wives, leaving other Muslim men with no wives. These displaced rogue males fled across your borders, parasitize your social programs, and establish no-go zones where the cowardly police fear to go. Let this continue, and they will not only rape your little girls, they will marry them to much older, become the roaring alpha male lions, and protect your precious pride and your little lionesses from the laughing hyenas that consider you just plain stupid. Do it now. Drive them out, fly them out, and float them out of your sovereign nations, out of your culture, and out of your darling little girls. Deeply, people of earth, fill your lungs with precious life-giving oxygen. Let the light of God animate your souls, and engage your newfound intelligence in the pursuit of peace, romantic love, self-preservation, and environmental restoration. Bring together all of the knowledge and technology of this world to return it to paradise. Restore the wetlands, stop rainforest destruction, increase and permanently protect all wilderness habitats, stop poaching of endangered species, and increase habitats for them. Bring back the alpha predators to maintain a natural balance in the food chain. Revitalize the oceans, lakes, and rivers. replant deforested lands, clean polluted waters, and minimize air pollution. Rebuild a planet full of plants and animals that can coexist together. The American Patriots must be the example to the world. They have their newly discovered cognitive abilities, the most advanced technologies, the internet, and the heart that pursues freedom and justice for all. Patriots will restore large tracts of prairie and rebuild the great American bison herd. Wealthy philanthropists will buy up private lands and return them to protected wildernesses. The soils, water, and air will be cleaned of their pollutions. Law and order, safety, security, and peace will be the norms. The pressure on the environment to produce profit will be reversed. Rape cultures will be imprisoned. Terrorism will just be stories in history books. Nations will keep their sovereignty and preserve their cultures. Men and women will marry for true romantic love and give birth to the most beautiful, gifted children. Thank you. That was The Now Testament by Michael Cassella, also known as the sequel to the Bible. Thanks for watching, guys.